Your continued narrow-minded refusal to believe in Over the Hill is possibly costing us a better life, you know.
Over the hill, my ass.
Well, when do we start looking for it again?
As soon as I get my heart started.
I mean, let's stop
I know what you mean.
and-
Over the hill where the deer and the antelope play, and it's warm and clean, and we can relax and have fun. And they grow food right out of the ground. How do you like that pipe dream?
It's called farming.
Oh, I believe you. And they also have a great crop of clothes and guns and gorgeous chicks. And now tell me how you saw the whole wonderful thing with your baby blues.
Never said I saw it. I said I heard about it.
And from who?
From whom? And you know from whom.
And whom the hell's gonna believe a police dog? I'm sorry, Blood. I believe you about Over the Hill. Hell, I believe anything you tell me. And even if we don't know for sure, it's worth checking on, right? Right?
Whatever you say.
And we will go, just like I promised. Right now, I'm hungry and I want to get laid. So find me abroad and we'll go to the promised land.
That's what you always say.
I know, but I mean it this time. Find me a chick and we'll go.
I'm hungry.
So am I. Well, I'll tell you what, you go find a chick and I'll hustle us up some food.
I'm hungry.
You already said that, goddammit, and I just said...
I can't do good work when I'm hungry.
You ain't pulling that crap on me again. And you can shove that part about how you lost the ability to hunt for food when you learned how to talk. Oh, hell, all you're good for is finding hard, stringy scumbags that are just liable to cut off my goddamn...
No food, no females.
Okay, you just sit there on your fuzzy butt while I do all the goddamn work. But I'll tell you one goddamn thing. You better do some practicing. It's been 6 weeks since I've been late. And it sure as hell ain't been that long since you ate. But God, it damn well may be if you don't start producing.
This is the emergency podcast system. This is not a test. Movies are bombing all over the country. They are posing as movies you already know. They may already be in your theaters, your neighbor's home, or even your own. Do not panic. Specialists have been dispatched. They will help you identify these pretenders and defend you against this invasion of the remake. Please stand by for further instructions.
Welcome to the Invasion of the Remake podcast. I am your host, Jason Bishop. And with me today, as always, is Sam Stepanenko.
Hello.
And Trish Coughlin.
Howdy.
And today we are going to talk about a sweet little movie. It's about a boy and his dog. No, not that one. No, not that one either. That
Not that YouTube one.
No. There's one in the 30s. There's one in the 40s. It's none of those. They have nothing to do with this one. It's about a boy and his dog and coming of age and a terrible desert wasteland.
Coming of age? Really?
You're stretching it there, yeah.
I'm pushing it. A Boy and His Dog, written by Harlan Ellison as a novella in 1969, then it was adapted into this movie in 1975. It is considered a science fiction classic. If you don't know the name Harlan Ellison, what the fuck are you doing listening to my podcast, you loser? He wrote a lot of television outside of his classic science fiction literature. He wrote for Masters of Science Fiction, The Outer Limits, Babylon 5, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Twilight Zone, Logan's Run, and probably one of the best Star Trek episodes ever, City on the Edge of Forever.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This was directed by L.Q. Jones, who is more known as an actor. He's got very little writing and directing credits, but he did write this movie along with his producing partner, Alvy Moore, who is in this movie as Dr. Moore. He's been in movies like Casino and The Wild Bunch and every television show since the 60s.
Oh, and what's funny is like watching this at the beginning with the font they chose for the credits. I spent half the movie thinking it was IQ Jones.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can totally see that.
Yeah. This was my birthday pick, and I'm going to apologize to Trish because I know she wasn't really keen on seeing this movie.
Hey, we all get our choices for our birthday pick.
Yeah.
That's the choice. That is the privilege of the birthday pick is you don't get a choice.
And to be fair,
no argument.
aside from the rampant misogyny in this movie, it actually does bear remaking. There is a nugget there that right, and that's
Honestly,
why I picked it.
when I got to the end, I think I texted Trish about 12 minutes in, going, "I want this man dead."
Yes.
The lead character Vic,
know.
who is Don Johnson from Miami Vice fame, by the way, pre Miami Vice. He's a very young Don Johnson.
Very young Don Johnson.
24, I think he would have been at the time. So
And looked younger.
yeah, he definitely.
I
Looked
thought he was
younger.
like 20.
Well, he's definitely it's a boy and his dog, so it's probably this kid who grew up in this wasteland without any real parental guidance from a fairly early age. I don't know what his background actually is. So
They don't
have
really
you read
explain
the
it.
novella?
A long time ago, because I am a huge Harlan Ellison fan, but I haven't read anything recently. So it was, and that's why I was a little shocked by the misogyny and the rapiness of it myself, because it wasn't that fresh in my mind.
Yeah, and I certainly wasn't expecting that, but once I kind of got to the end, I'm like, oh, I kind of get this. Like,
It was crucial to the point of the film.
Yeah, well,
It's part of it. I do
like
get
Vic.
that.
Vic is pure id. Like
Yes.
he is unrestrained id. I mean, the movie should be called A Dog and His Boy, because that's really more the dynamic in this
really is,
movie.
yeah.
And that's the whole point of like where he is. That's what everything is. It's just this
Yeah.
primal survival.
You're absolutely right. It is absolutely primal base instincts, and it's in the human, not the dog.
Yeah, and the whole movie is a commentary by Ellison about human nature and how we revert to our most base natures.
Oh yeah, you refuse to see other humans really as human when it's just about you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's strict survival, and that's pretty much
And
the
he-
first hour of the movie.
And he is very good at survival.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's
He's
what
a-
the whole first hour is about.
yeah,
is how
he's a good
he is.
shot.
Yeah.
And he's really concerned about finding food and getting laid.
Well,
Like, he wants
finding food
it's that
and
primal
an
instinct of-
unwilling participant in sex.
Yeah,
yes.
no,
not really getting laid.
I do not like the idea of the like that. It was very uncomfortable, but I think it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to
Yeah,
be. That's
it's
the
supposed
intent.
to be.
Yeah.
Like the dog even says, "You're not a likable person. Like you're not
Oh,
a
yeah.
nice person."
Yeah.
Which I don't get. Did you? Okay, I hadn't read the novella, but like, why? Okay, I know he goes by Vic, but when the dog calls him Albert, he
It's
gets
to
really
piss him
upset.
off. It's to piss him off.
Okay, but like Albert apropos of nothing? Or...
Really, no. He's just doing it to piss him off.
Oh, okay, so he just doesn't like the name Albert.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
what I never
Yeah.
got that. I thought I was missing something.
Yeah. No,
partway
it was
through.
part of the dynamic is to show that dog has a sense of humor.
Okay, because
That blood has, yeah.
I knew it pissed him off. I just didn't know if there was a reason.
Yeah, it's whenever Blood got irritated with Vic, he'd call him Albert.
Okay.
Right. Apropos of nothing.
Okay, I just thought there was something else I missed. Okay.
Yeah, and maybe there's a backstory that ties
In the
back
novellas,
into the
yeah,
novella that just isn't explored in the film. But
And I seem to recall that there is, and I'm going to have to go back and reread them now because I really did enjoy rewatching it, and I could see where it could be changed to make it more enjoyable to watch as without that uncomfortable squirmy feeling that you get during that first
Yeah,
half.
like-
I mean, he does essentially get punished for his behavior later on.
Oh, true.
Oh,
like
for sure.
The harshness of it is, I can see where if you kind of have to keep it there in the beginning so that what happens to him later makes more sense. You're still as jarred by it.
Yeah, the karmic retribution of it.
Yeah, like what happened to him was just as bad as what he was doing.
yeah, they list this as a sci-fi comedy on IMDb.
It's not that
It's
funny.
not. Doesn't have a lot of comedic nature in it though.
All
Like-
the comedy comes from Blood.
Yeah. The comedy
Yeah.
is
Which is the name of the dog.
It is within their dynamic
Yeah.
as strained and reliant as they are on each other. The psychic dog, and we haven't mentioned anybody yet that the dog kind of talks to Vic psychically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
and vice versa.
The dog, nobody else can hear what the dog is saying to Vic, but Vic.
Yeah.
Which kind of opens you up to like an idea. I'm like, is the dog really talking to Vic?
Well, and that's the question, right? And because there's a point later on in the movie where Vic talks to another dog, but you don't hear that dog talk back.
Yeah,
No, and
that's
that
what I-
dog gets punished too.
Yes, it goes to the farm.
The farm.
Yeah, but you hear the guy talking to the dog as well, and you hear what he says to the dog, but you never hear anything.
No.
It's very odd.
It is very odd, and I think that's what makes the movie so intriguing. Is that question: is Vic actually talking to Blood, or is he just
Crazy.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Right, and that's definitely part of what makes it interesting as a movie.
But the people that were following and monitoring Vic in the movie seem to think he can talk to dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, which is, again.
Yeah.
Well, there's hints in the movie as well that there are other people who can do that. Like there's other people who can talk to their dogs. So it's... And if I remember correctly, and again, my memory of the book is really, really vague, but I think they kind of explained that it's part of a genetic experiment that was occurring before the apocalypse.
Okay.
And that when the apocalypse hit, these pairings came out into the world.
Okay.
Right.
I think, again, my memory is somewhat vague.
Yeah. I couldn't find a budget on this or take.
Well, 1976.
So, I don't know, $5. $10.
And it's
They were
still,
using fairly existing sets. It still looks pretty good because it's kind of a wasteland movie. So you just cover things with dirt.
I was watching this and I was thinking about how much the Road Warrior movies owe to this movie in terms of look.
yeah.
Sure. Well, actually, and the Fallout video games are very much
Yeah.
inspired by this movie.
Yes.
The vaults underground.
Yeah.
They even have a dog in their video game called Dog Meat, which is something Vic calls blood as a sign of disrespect. Calls them dog meat. So there's a lot of references. Fallout would not exist. We have 4 Fallout games because of this movie.
Yes, so it was it is a huge impact on pop culture.
Yeah, absolutely. It totally does. So, I mean, and a lot of Harlan Ellis's stuff does. Starring Don Johnson, Jason Robards, Susanne Benton, and Tim McIntire as the voice of Blood. And, of course, we got to give credit to the dog, whose name is Tiger. Yes, Tiger Blood.
Nice.
And considering the nature of Vic in this movie
and Charlie Sheen.
there's the connections there are
It's
uncanny.
upsetting. It's really upsetting.
It's quite something. I made that connection last night, and I'm like, because I really wanted to know the name of the dog, but IMDb didn't credit, so I did some digging, and I'm like, name of the dog was Tiger. And yeah, I'm like, wow, really? Tiger Blood. Huh. And then the connections just kept going. I'm like,
I'm afraid now.
Yeah, no, that's quite a disturbing connection. Yes.
Well, let's run the trailer for this, and we will start digging into this thing, because I'm looking forward to talking about it and remaking it as well.
Charles Champlin of the Los Angeles Times says, a coherent, alternate world, kind of a funny nightmare recited as a becoming fact. It is an offbeat delight. KMET Radio, Los Angeles, gripping, horrific, a bitter vision of tomorrow, tightly controlled, compelling, bizarre, and witty. Time Magazine's Richard Schickel says, ironic, risks being absurd, yet compels respect for some witty writing and well-paced direction. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times says, wacky success, weird, offbeat, unique, magnificently inspired. Richard Eder of the New York Times says, brilliantly grotesque. The Austin Sun, this may be the best science fiction film ever made. A Boy and His Dog. A film that has become a cult legend.
Right now I'm hungry and I want to get laid.
That's what you always say.
You go find a chick and I'll hustle us up some food.
I can't do good work when I'm hungry.
You ain't pulling that crap on me again. And you can shove that part about how you lost the ability to hunt for food when you learned how to talk.
No food, no females.
After World War IV, your dog will tell you what to do. How to laugh. How to love. How and who to kill.
That stupid broad.
You're so funny when you're sexually frustrated.
Damn it. Now when the hell am I going to nail her in there?
Simple. Stop shaking like a leaf and go do it.
If you continue to find the food for your dog, he will find you a woman. He is the only one who can.
Give him the girl.
We stay. Now you got any helpful suggestions?
Yes, pull up your pants, Romeo.
In the future, your dog will tell you how to survive. Or you will die.
A woman can't get pregnant. Every once in a while we need new blood.
Horse manure.
You mean you want me to knock up your broad?
Well, I can push back the wrong attitude fair through the authority.
Now get the dramatic catch out of your voice and tell me how she's going to carry her share of the load up here. Tell me how we're going to
All
fight her.
right, okay. Just don't hang her.
Harangue, not hang her.
I don't care, whatever. whatever the hell it is, you just knock off the crap and we can forget the whole stinking...
Well, maybe we should, you simple dumb putz.
What the hell's a putt? What's a putt? Is that something bad? I bet it is. It's something bad. Well, I'll tell you, you better watch your stinking mouth, or I'm going to kick you in the butt.
If you can imagine an excuse for World War IV, you will understand a talking dog.
Try to get back as quick as I can. Will you wait?
For a while. Then over the hill. I'll miss you, Pig. I'll really miss you.
L.Q. Jones, A Boy and His Dog. A film that has become a legend by word of mouth. Rated R.
Okay, well, yeah, he really is horny in this movie. Like, that's really his sole reason to exist, and the dog's using him to get food.
Well, I mean, we're understanding that he is 18 years old when his hormones are, like, raging.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't excuse it.
No, but in a world where you're not brought up with a moral structure or anything else, it is just survival.
In a world that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter other people or things.
Yeah. I mean, we open on him basically watching a girl had just got raped, and he's upset that they scarred her up.
No, he's upset that they killed her.
Yeah.
That they wasted her, yeah.
He's
Because
like, they didn't have to cut her.
Yeah.
They didn't have to cut her. Cause
I get the feeling she still could have been dead, and it wouldn't have bothered him that much.
Oh, see, I thought that fact she was dead was what bothered him, not the fact that she was cut up. I think for some reason rape is fine, but necrophilia is just that step too far.
Yeah, I got the opposite feeling. I thought he was like upset about the cuts rather than her being dead.
Yeah, and I wasn't really sure. Either way, he said
it's disturbing either way.
Either way,
It's
it's
bad.
it's bad.
It's all bad.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that bothers me about this movie is they don't really explain why there are so few women.
Yeah,
right. Because
they've been raped and killed.
And you know what? Maybe
I got at.
that may be exactly what it is, right? But I think if there had been enough women around, this rape culture would not have existed in the first place.
Yeah, but I think, once you get to a certain point, and I don't know, you allow these ids to run rampant, this is what you're left with.
Yeah, well, in that first hour, outside of scrounging and stuff, there's like that movie theater, and there is a couple girls there. One's disguised as a boy to watch the movies, which are just really terrible looking
Leftover
porns.
bad porn.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because the director, L.Q. Jones, is actually in one of those mocked up pornos. And then there's an actual hooker where they're just trading goods to get laid
see,
in a hole.
Prostitution.
Everything happens in holes in this movie.
Yeah.
I think prostitution would have worked in that sort of environment.
Yeah,
as long as
absolutely.
you're
And
protected.
that did make a lot of sense in that regard. It's just this tiny little community that's been built around movies and the one woman hooker to get their things.
And you check your guns.
Yeah.
And you pay with food.
Yeah.
Which actually makes a lot of sense in terms of what has value in this particular type of society.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it is a wasteland, so they're living off canned food that's probably not very good for them, but it's all they have.
Well, they talk about a little bit. Vic and Blood are talking about this promised land of farming. You know,
wasn't it Over the Hill?
Over the hill, they call it, yeah.
Yeah, over the hill, over the dale, whatever. It was this promised land and something Vic didn't overly believe in.
Yeah, because like they grow. Yeah,
Plant.
sure, they grow food right from the ground, and there's
Yeah.
there's women and clothes coming from the ground too. And you're like, not how it works.
And Blood
but-
hadn't seen it. I guess he got told by a police dog.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing about Blood is he's always trying to make Vic a better person. He's not succeeding, but he's trying.
I would say no. He's not always trying to make Vic
Not
a better
always.
person.
Not always.
Because
He
let's
uses
look at
them
it
to
this way:
get what he wants.
He just wants to get what he wants. He's a slightly more intellectual version of Vic's id. Because when it comes down to it, they're surrounded. He's like, "Oh, give her to him, and then we can get away." Like he doesn't think much of anybody else.
Oh no, he's completely selfish. There's no question, right?
But he doesn't make him a better person. He's trying to teach him things,
I think
but that's not making him a better person.
Part of it is that companionship, too. He doesn't want to lose Vic to somebody else because it's kind of crucial for his survival as well. So, you know, you can call it jealousy. I don't think it's jealousy so much as need for Vic.
It's survivalist.
It's a survival thing. So he doesn't want somebody else to become reliant on Vic, and he becomes unimportant, and that is a large part of this story.
And I think for that telepathy, I think it only works between certain people and certain dogs. That's why I interpret it as.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I got that, too.
Once they're separated, none of this works for them. Like, then Blood is just another dog. And he's food then, really.
Yeah, well, and if the truth of the matter is, in that sequence I played at the beginning, and it was in the trailer as well, that when he gained that kind of communication and intelligence, he lost his primal instinct for hunting down food and that kind of survival, then I could see where that relationship is mutual.
It's weird. I think his primal instinct for survival is still there. It's a weird take on how intellectualizing something means you don't directly kill something, but you're perfectly fine with sacrificing something.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, he doesn't have to take down something and kill it with his own bare hands, but he sees nothing wrong with putting it in the hands of somebody else who's going to kill it.
Yeah, I didn't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, it's still, to me, you're still culpable.
Oh, yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
But it's that intellectualization, whereas if you're not directly responsible, you're not culpable. I'm like, that's bullshit.
Whereas, I mean, Vic is unlikable because of his pure id and instinct. It is all primal, and it's almost forgivable because he doesn't put much thought into anything. Whereas Blood absolutely does. He's manipulative.
And you see that scene where he's where Vic's wanting him to point out the woman in the movie theater. And he manipulates Vic into giving him what he wants before he tells him where the woman is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happens to be popcorn, but
yeah,
I mean, that in a world like that would be quite the luxury.
Well, see, I don't know. See, I thought we went back to when popcorn was actually garbage food that you could get. Like, it wasn't it didn't have the markup at a movie theater like it does now. Like, popcorn used to be stuff that you could just have. Like, potato chips used to be like poor people's food because it didn't have any value.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, they had a huge vat of it there cooking on
a fryer. Yeah,
on a fryer there. So I mean, it's probably something that was fairly accessible for them, right? Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, Vic just doesn't want to. I think he's trying to establish some sort of control over Blood because he knows that he needs to maintain some control over the dog in order to maintain his own independence.
Yeah. And it's also how I think most people there will perceive him as being a guy with his dog. Not the dog with his person.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think other people realize that they have a telekinetic
No, connection. I would think the average person doesn't. There's that point where they I didn't even get that. The guy with the kind of caravan and the servants digging into a vault and pulling out some stuff. Some food and things, and then he rips them off. But I was kind of thinking we'd see that guy again.
Yeah, he sort of gets ditched. I thought there was a whole story there.
Yeah, well, and the guy's laughing about it. We'll be seeing you again.
Yeah,
no, we won't.
His group of boys who drag his little mini chariot.
Unless they were that gang later on when they find that vault and there's the screamers and all that.
That and at the end of the movie when. Without any spoilers yet, but at the end of the movie, there's Blood's telling Vic that the town's closed to him because of what he did.
Right.
And I think that's what...
That's a callback to that.
A callback to that. And I think there's probably some other stuff that may not have made it off the cutting room floor. Mm-hmm. Again, for the sake of time, because it is a fairly long movie for such a simple story.
Yeah, I find the first hour goes very quickly, despite it's just scrounging, and but it establishes Vic,
the whole world,
really, and then we get our first glimpse of Quilla June, and then the mention of the screamers and the lights. But that frustrated me because I wanted to see one. But
I want to find out more of what they meant, like by the screamers and.
Well, they're mutants.
Yeah, but I mean, I would have liked to have had more of that effect in that world.
I would have liked something physical to see, But apparently they glow green and they make horrible noises, and that's about it. But
and they're terrifying to
I mean, if
yeah.
memories I serve from the the Richard Corbin graphic novels that they followed up with from the novella, that they are mutants of some sort.
Yeah,
so
and
I would certainly bring more of that into.
And
our
if you're
remake.
talking budgets, I mean, you save a lot
Sure.
of money by having it all happen off camera.
yeah, it's a few lights and some noise effects, cheap and
Yep.
effective. You don't have to worry about makeup or anything else. So I
Yeah.
totally understand that.
Yeah, no, I just want more information about them, or because
Yeah.
it seems like they're they're a threat, but they mention them kinda, and then they're hiding from them, and then they don't
Yeah.
really establish the threatening portion of it.
No. Well, that's where you could bring in some good CG action moments into this if you're remaking it with today's budget. You're not going to have to worry about that. You can make some interesting things that live in the dirt. And,
Or when Don Johnson talks about that prior experience with the screamer, put that in, like put it that background where it was him and the dog, and like sort of part of where their relationship started.
Yeah.
You could have that like flashback, so you can establish the screamers as well as their relationship.
oh, yeah.
and find out why they're so terrifying to everybody.
Yeah.
Right, because that gang, when they hear the screamer noises, fake as they are, they start to panic.
Yeah.
Right, so they are obviously something quite terrifying that they don't really establish as to why they're so terrifying. So you're right. I have to agree with you on that. That we need to see more of that,
Yeah.
or at least something earlier on to establish why they're so.
Yeah. Well, and
Scary.
it's something you can give a little more threat, because it doesn't seem like there's much happening with Vic. They're opportunistic, and then they run. And,
Yeah.
I want to see him surviving a threat a little bit more. He's a good shot, but
And I don't know, I don't mind a movie where humans are the main danger. Those just generally make me sad. Mm-hmm. But if you add another danger on top of it, I'm like, I'm feeling a little bit better about this movie now.
Yeah,
like, I don't lose hope in all humanity.
I don't. We've got road warriors, so I want to go in a slightly different direction with it, and have those creatures. I mean, if you've got them, let's see them. Let's do something with them, and that can make a really good mid scene action sequence within the film.
Yes, and it establishes 3 different types of society within the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Right, none of them are good.
Oh no.
I think that's the
There are no good people in this movie.
Do they call it Down Under?
They call it Down Under.
The
because
Down
that
Under.
leads to one of my favorite conversations in the whole movie.
Yeah, Down Under is the flip side.
Which
of
happens
what's
to
up
be
top.
Topeka.
Yes.
Yeah.
Topeka, Kansas,
But
under
it's the
all
flip
the
side
dirt.
of what's up top. It's like, yeah, there's lawlessness up here, but down here it's corruption and just like strangleholds of everything. So neither one of these is
It was
good.
a Norman Rockwell nightmare. Is
It
what
really was. Yeah, it's very.
Norman Rockwell on acid is what it was.
Yeah.
It was, yes. I love the stuff in the Down Under just because of the freaking face paint. It just added this level of creepiness that just, it's like, that so works.
My only tone of it is like with her, they lightened it up because like she's a pretty girl and they didn't want to do it. I'm like, they should have made hers just as garish as everyone else's, just to really drive that point home.
Yes. Yeah. Because like everybody was wearing the makeup.
It made me so upset.
I know, and it achieved its intended effect. And very simply, too.
But what's weird is looking at this is what I think some people think is like, it is some people's idea of a perfect utopia where everybody is kept in line and everything happens a certain way.
And it's structured.
There's
and
my morality, and if anybody else deviates even a little bit, we kill them.
Yeah, and that's
That's
farm.
some people's
I like how
beautiful
they
dream.
say send him to the farm, where the farm is essentially you've become fertilizer.
Yeah.
You get killed and you're dragged to the farm and made into fertilizer. They don't come out and say it, but the interpretation's there.
You know, I
They
kind of got
definitely-
the impression that they got turned into food.
Oh, maybe their food too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Right, so that because I can see that them having like agriculture kind of stuff, but
I don't know. I went another way too. Like it just kept reminding me of that Twilight Zone episode of the kid who can make anything happen, and he says, "I'll send them into the cornfield." That's what I kept thinking of.
and you know that's a good point, and that just made my skin crawl a little bit too. But yeah, I kind of wondered if especially given events later on in the movie, that if they were actually going to be made.
Yeah,
into
that
food.
makes sense. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was just they have some pulled pork. That was Fred just last week.
Yeah, and so and certainly I would almost make
He
that
smiled
more
wrong.
apparent in the remake, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, we got to answer that question. That's got to get answered.
Yeah, but yeah, when you call it a farm, I'm thinking food.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, and yeah, that could be deeply and wonderfully disturbing. Now,
what's weird is when they just one thing on that when they're talking about it is they're having the whole thing where they're sending them to the farm, but then they're asking about, okay, what did we say about these people last time? Oh, they had a farm accident. They're in front of other people. Like, is that just the committee? Is it closed?
Yeah, that's the committee. Yeah.
Okay,
well,
good.
It's weird because
they know
when they're making their announcements, it's over the loudspeakers that are constantly doing recipes and things.
And it was awesome. I loved it.
It was weird.
That's why I loved it.
Oh, I totally want to keep that because that makes it that whole propaganda,
Surreal.
how you keep people, how you drive people insane.
Yeah, it was totally surreal, and it just made everything that happened in the Down Under really, really powerful.
Oh, for sure.
So we've established that Vic is pretty much his primary goal is to, fuck whatever is female and happens to be around. And they meet Quilla in one of the vaults, which look like an old school.
Well, yeah, and he
The
follows
gymnasium,
her
yeah.
after the
gymnasium.
movies because
they fall. Yeah, exactly.
Because he's planning on raping her. Let's
Yes.
put it out in the open.
He's going to rape her.
Yeah, he's planning on raping her.
Yeah. Yeah, it follows her down there, and she just showered and is starting to get changed back into the clothing that she would wear in the Down Under. Mm-hmm. But she's been sent there to lure him out.
Yeah, which is a really bold move considering being anywhere up there as a woman. How did they know that they were going to, A, they were going to get Vic, B, she's not going to be raped to death before she gets Vic down?
Well,
because they've been watching Vic.
And they say that. They've been watching him for a long time.
They've been watching him for a long time, but what I'm saying is what if somebody else at that little movie theater discovered that it was a girl?
Sure.
And they knew that was a risk they were taking.
Yeah, they knew there was a risk, but they counted on
Blood being able to find her.
Yeah,
because
they dressed her up as much as a guy as they could, and they were counting on the dynamic with the dog and the dog revealing that
because
she's
they'd
female.
seen that
God knows she did not walk like a dude.
No,
No.
I did notice that as well. I'm
Holy
like,
cow,
Yeah.
she's got hips that would take out an eye.
yeah, I know that drove me nuts. I'm like, if you're gonna hide, I think that's what we need to add in this. She's got to really be like a dude
she's got to be very skilled at pretending to be a dude. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
She didn't even try.
because that's
like-
survival.
As soon as she got up out of the chair, she's kind of slouched down. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's working. And then she gets up and walks,
Yeah.
and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you'd have to.
You
Fix
could
that.
tell she had a figure at that point.
Yes, yeah.
She's used to flaunting it as much as she can. Mm-hmm. and
And it's
noticed.
it's a different walk.
Yeah.
You just have to.
There's a
way
walk
to
that
do
women
it.
have that is unmistakable.
And there's something there's something about to make it more manly because I did do this in improv, trying to walk like a guy. And it's different.
You do. You have to
Yeah.
pretend that there's something between your legs, like there's something.
and your hips are narrow.
Oh no, it's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a blunt way of putting it, but really, that's part of why men walk the way they do.
Yeah, and it was I had to mimic somebody else because that's the only way my brain doesn't automatically go that way. So you got to mimic somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, who needed a dog for that?
Right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's something that we could definitely
Ooh.
fix in the remake.
Although alternatively, maybe
But
a
that's
lot
a
of these
performance
guys,
issue.
a lot of these guys didn't even know because all the women had been gone for so long.
That's true,
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's one of the things we have to explain in the remake too is why there are fewer women, so few women.
Although it is a movie theater, let's presume that a lot of them traded a can of peaches to fuck that girl at the door. So they've already got their rocks
Yeah.
off, so they're less interested.
I don't know.
Although since they're sitting to watching ancient porn, which is weird because the movie's shot in 1975, but it takes place in 2024. I would have thought the porn looked more. It looked like it was from the 40s.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. What I'd want to do is I don't even know if I'd want porn in the theater. I'd want it to be something silly like I don't know, Lethal Weapon 3 or something. I want just a movie, a blockbuster
Like in the
movie.
Postman, where was the Sound of Music,
But a shitty sequel.
A shitty sequel,
Yeah.
or at least maybe a couple of trailers.
It's
of a
not
movie.
Speed, it's Speed 2.
Speed 2.
Because your world sucks.
yeah.
It's just one of these really shitty action remakes that this is the best we could find.
Oh, or the best ever. Okay, the only movie that survived is Troll 2.
And it's now revered.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the only entertainment anybody has.
Yeah, like I said, like in the Postman, where they watch the Sound of Music on that big screen, and they get mad when they can't when they try to watch something else.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes in that movie, by the way.
It's Poultrygeist. It's
Oh, see, that would be fun then.
or The Room, not the Oscar nominated one.
Oh, that would be so weird. People would be like, people looked weird. Like, that guy looked like he got melted before the
Before the
dropped.
radiation happened.
Like, wow, like we got radiated and now we look better. Isn't that great?
Oh yeah, fun fact: World War IV lasted for 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that was the politicians solving the urban blight issue.
And I had to re-look at stuff because they talked about the timeline where there was World War III because they go right to 4 and I'm like, they just skipped over one? What happened? And I had to look into it and like it was an alternate timeline type of deal.
Yeah, well, we're not that far away from 2024.
No.
I know this is going to happen.
Well,
So-
and then well, just the Blade Runner trailer dropped with its title, and isn't it 2024 as well?
No, 2049.
2049.
Yeah.
Okay, 2049. I'm like, oh, okay, they're obviously going with that timeline again because we've passed the Blade Runner future already.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes, we have.
Future people making science fiction, don't put a date. No dates.
No.
If you don't have a date, no problem. No dates, no problems.
Yes.
Or you say this is 200 years after the new Empire rose.
You just be vague. It's 200 years in the future.
Yeah, all previous historical
No
documents
matter
are
when you
destroyed.
watch it, it's 200 years in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flawless logic.
Yes. Works for DC Comics and their Legion of Superheroes.
It's,
There you go.
It's 1,000 years in the future.
It's the
always
wildest
1,000
extrapolation from the Matthew McConaughey phrase. Is like going, yeah, I get older, they stay the same age.
Yes.
We get older, those movies are still in the future.
Yeah, I like that. And we'll do that in our remake. We won't set a date.
That's right. No dates.
Especially considering it's not that far away.
No,
No need to scare people.
Oh, there's lots to be scared of.
7 years from
already.
now.
He's already found Quilla and,
He's attempting to rape her.
attempting to rape her when these other scavengers, and he thinks it's their base. They're already assuming other people live in this base.
Yeah.
Where why she went there, I don't know. Maybe the entryway is there.
That's what I was wondering.
She
I don't know,
she
but
was
no.
bait, so it was obviously like somewhere she'd set up as sort of like her trap.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
So it made me wonder if she actually knew the Marauders, even though she was shooting at them and they were shooting at her. I don't.
Oh,
that was so
no.
weird.
I would say that's a no.
No, it happened to be empty, and she didn't know any better.
I think she knew about the place. It had been. I think she got help clearing it out from people from the Down Under. That got set up as her place.
Okay.
And then they didn't booby trap the door, which they should have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, I think that, it was just scavengers looking for something, right? And they may have been looking for Vic.
Yeah, well, I got the feeling
I
this
think
might have
I-
been the band that he stole from earlier.
Yeah, certainly I would establish that more clearly.
Yeah, I would have made it at least the connection with the faces because, man, those shots are really far away with what they're doing, and I would have maybe established that these are guys that work for that caravan guy.
Yeah.
He seems to be some well-to-do guy within this society, so I would have made him like another ongoing threat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you can see where the Road movie stole that kind of look, whole cloth. Like I'm going back to it because the whole caravan being pulled by the little people and stuff like that. It's like that's,
and they're already talking about
Yeah.
screamers at that point.
Yeah.
So when they kind of fake the screamers to kind of scare them away, I'd have used that to attract the real ones, and then have a bigger action sequence there. So they've just got rid of the humans that have come in there, and now screamers are attacking the ones above, and a few are coming in as well.
Yeah. Like I'd like to have humans trying to escape from the screamers, but they're fighting the other humans that are down
Imagine
there.
these things digging up from the sand and then crawling on the walls and
and that it would actually give them a really great excuse to go into that boiler. Where they end up and they hide in there waiting for the carnage to end.
Yeah.
Right? Like they when they realize they've called the screamers, it's like, hey, problem solved.
Yeah.
We go hide, they kill all those scavengers, and then we wait for them to leave.
Yeah.
Because he's always asking the dog, "Is it safe yet? Is it safe yet?" I'm like, "Yeah, that scene just stays as it is."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the scene's the same, but it changes and it has a lot more tension to it.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would certainly it would look way cooler too.
Yeah. For an old gymnasium, there are a lot of mattresses lying around.
I know.
So a lot of people were crashing there, or
At one point, yeah.
or shagging
See,
there.
and I wouldn't have put mattresses in there. What I would have put in, because it's a school, is gym mats. Those old blue gym mats.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing. When I
There was
watching it.
no blue gym mats lying around, and those should have been there.
Those
for
should have
sure.
been the mats.
Yeah, you were totally right.
Yeah, because they had all these cot mats lying around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like these bad mats, and like going, I don't know what was happening in the school prior to the World War IV, but it wasn't good, guys. Wasn't
Well,
good.
I was just thinking about the
Teen sex was way up after World War III.
That was the
way
urban
up, yeah.
blight. That was the urban blight.
Think about the rug burn that you got from those mats when you fell and like banged your knee or your elbow on that.
Yeah.
Could you imagine trying to have sex on something like that?
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's good.
No.
I mean, you're already being raped. It's not going to get any better.
Yes, but she doesn't get raped.
No, she doesn't.
No, but I mean,
In fact, she willingly gives it up after they fight off the guys and go hide. And
which I thought at the time was pretty fast and loose, and then I'm like, oh, I get it now.
yeah, well, she's
She's bait.
she's
Right.
bait, so
And-
she's seducing him.
She's seducing him, and this is a new thing for him.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Because but then the dog talks about breeding. It's an ugly thing, and
Yeah,
I'm like
also-
going, consensual sex is an ugly thing. That tells me a lot about you, Blood.
Yes.
A lot.
Yeah, it really does. But yeah, and I mean, and they have sex multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And there's one of my favorite pieces of dialogue happens sort of after the first time they have intercourse, and she's talking about, "Are you sure you've never gone down under? Are you sure you don't want to try going down under?" I love the double entendre of that. I so love that.
I thought I was the only one that caught it. I was like going, did I just hear that?
Right? But she's talking about where she's from,
Yeah.
right? But there's that whole second meaning to it that just made it so wonderful as far as dialogue goes. I'm just like, oh,
I was literally confused by that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure they were talking about at that point. Like, oh, she's talking about home.
yeah.
Yeah. That took me a while I think that was the point of the dialogue.
That
which
was
makes
the
it
point of the
great.
dialogue
Yeah.
because I mean because that's the way Ellison writes is he wants you to think about what he said and said, oh, it could mean either. It actually means both, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
That was really good.
Yeah. So
You're right.
So yeah, I mean, there's lots of great
That
dialogue.
stays in.
Yeah, that absolutely stays in.
Oh, yeah, there's some great Ellison dialogue. Although he had writer's block trying to develop the script. That's why L.Q. Jones went in there and finished
Yeah.
it with his producing partner,
I was reading about that.
Alvy.
Alvy. Not a lot of people named Alvy.
No, probably a good thing.
Probably a good thing.
So now they're an item, and she wants to have marriage and kids, but the dog doesn't fit into the plans.
Yes, and so Vixen now in this decision was like, do I go with this new experience that I've actually rather enjoyed? I don't have to.
Yeah, we're already in like the final half hour now. Like
Yeah.
the first hour is just stealing and arguing with the dog, and then that sequence in the gymnasium. Like that's really all it is. But it's an hour. It goes fast,
It does go very fast.
and then it slows right down.
Yeah, it does, and which is interesting because I mean it's still very interesting when they do get into the down under.
Yeah, see, I like that bit because the contrast. It's sort of I can see how this would be somebody's dream existence,
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
and I could also see why it's horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, and I think the slowing the pace down is intentional, although
Yes.
I don't know if I would do that these days because I think the audience was just feeling bored, but it's a boring, sterilized society. Literally, like they're sterile.
Yeah, no, and it does work in this film because of that.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's part of showing that contrast that Trish was just
Yeah.
talking about. Is you've got this fast paced, kill or be killed kind of world on above ground, and then you have this slow paced, incredibly rigid structured society below.
Just choking the life out of you in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's conflict between Vic and Blood because, Vic wants to chase the tail. He wants to go after the girl who clocks him.
Yeah,
That's a weird play hard to get, but this is the best looking girl he's had in a while, and he just had a shit ton of sex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she's giving it up willingly. He doesn't have to fight for it.
Yeah.
And it's different. I'm sorry, but I mean, I've never forcibly had sex with anybody.
good,
No.
good.
But
you
I
have
can
to
imagine
imagine
for
it
him
would
it's a
be
very
different.
For
different
him,
experience.
it's different, and I think he's actually feeling an emotional attachment for the very first time and doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or possibly because it's so new, like to have someone be willing, it must be more enjoyable for him. He's like, oh my God, this is pretty cool.
she wanted it more than he did.
Or she at least put on pretense that she did. Yeah.
He says something like, wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah, he's very confused by it.
Yeah.
Which tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it says a lot about Vic.
Well, and the society that he was brought up in.
Like
Right?
he's never had that before.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not completely unintelligent. He can read, but and he communicate, and probably because of the dog, actually.
The dog teaches him things.
Yeah, and it teaches him Latin.
Yeah.
And the history.
So he's actually smarter than a lot of the people around, but emotionally speaking, he's very primal.
He's in the same level as everybody else.
Yeah. So he does choose to follow her to the underground,
The down under.
the down under, and Blood had been injured in the fight earlier with
because there was another dog.
There was another dog, so there was a good scrap going on there before Vic could get to them and beat the other dog to death.
Yeah, the dog fight. Yeah, it took a lot because I think Blood is an older dog. He's not.
Yeah, he does. He even says that in his dialogue a little bit later on that he's an older dog and he might have trouble finding somebody else to pair up with, and vice versa. But he says, "Well, I'll wait here for a little bit, and then I'll go over the hill," kind of thing. And Vic goes down under. He doesn't make it very far.
No,
they're waiting
it's a
for him.
place.
Well, and you're kind of expecting that, right?
Yeah.
That
It's a trap.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they've managed to keep their society trucking along without the raiders coming in, so they've obviously got defenses.
Well, and they had a special key that he needed to get in.
Yeah, they have technology. He had to use a pass card to get into the vault. It's a very clear kind of structure. So it's unlike the other ones where they had to dig up. It's right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a door in the ground.
Yeah, it's wild. And then like it kind of flashes forward to like this scene where they're bathing him.
Yeah, in this fire hose.
Against his will. And
Yeah.
like there's something really unpleasant about a non-consensual bathing scene.
Yeah, no, and that smiling robot guy.
It's Mike,
Yeah.
Mike, yeah.
Which took me a while to figure out it was a robot.
Yeah, I was wondering why he was smiling all the time, and I thought that was just all of them supposed to do that.
That's what I thought.
But then some guys weren't. So
Yeah, no, I thought he was just simple, and they were using him as muscle.
I thought something like that maybe too. As I started seeing the world, I'm like, well, maybe he's just simple. Yeah,
and of mice and men type of stuff.
Yeah, like very much like Lenny. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
and didn't the fact that he didn't speak and just everything kind of indicated to me that he was. Yeah, he was. They were making use of somebody who had no other purpose in the society, not realizing later on that he's a robot. And there's a line, I love it.
Unlike you guys, I didn't like the face paint.
See, I thought it added something to the whole concept of the Down Under.
I
thought it was the horror of it and the uniformity that was demanded by everyone.
Well, that's just it. I'd go because they went with this kind of Norman Rockwell 40s kind of look and plaid farmers and things like that. I would have gone more sterile. I would have taken less color in the world, and I would have had more uniforms within the society, lots of white and grays.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the point of
Neutral.
it too it went back, like this is people wanting the past to come back. So they're going into the past. Like this is how some people believe this is beautiful.
Parts of
the best parts for them when society was like that. Not necessarily
That's true.
For everybody.
Their leaders in the community are older.
Yes.
So yeah, they're the ones that are like, oh no, this is when everything was really good, and now we get to say anything. Like you can just sentence somebody to death.
Yeah,
because they might show you a little attitude.
Yeah, well, that was pretty much it. The offenses were pretty small.
Yeah, and I think the face paint was there to make everybody kind of anonymous, right?
Yeah.
So there was no. Everybody was. It was like a uniform, right? It was like
I was toying with the idea of putting everybody in masks down there to kind of add to a bit of a creepy factor and put neutral faces on everybody and they're faceless, but because I thought there's probably going to be an inbreeding problem down there.
Oh yeah.
So to kind of hide some of the mutations, and the more perfect people don't have to wear them, or the ones that are a little higher up class-wise.
And that would be a good way of modernizing it and add another element of that elitism.
Yeah.
And
you could have it like a Handmaid's Tale type of deal. Where
It's
there's
a creepy
colors that
factor.
Which is being made into a movie again.
Yeah, there is another one coming out of A Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
you
lot
know,
of
you got to
those.
prepare for what's going to happen. But yeah, like have it like the hierarchy where colors are indicative of where you stand in the status.
Yeah, and that would be a really way of sort of achieving that creepiness that we get from the makeup.
Bet Logan's Run, but
Yeah, but I mean, just having that there.
yeah, no, I kind of agree.
It's a
with
great
that.
device.
It is a
right?
good device.
It is a good device, and it could still work. Maybe not color, but maybe the masks, right? I think
Yeah.
it would be a good way of doing it, like, because they all dress kind of very 50s Stepford Wives kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and if you modernize it and actually have it in a future that's a future of ours, a possible forward future from ours, then it's going to look very different than it did from the 70s.
That's
Yes.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Perspective. So, visually, whatever that underground's ideal is going to be very different,
For sure.
and probably a much broader mixture of ideas. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if you tie in, okay. When we get to the remaking part, this will tie into my.
Oh, I don't think we're that
my
far away now.
bonkers theory about it.
Yeah.
That'll change it.
Yeah, so let's get back to what happens to Vic, because it's as it's comeuppance of epic proportions.
Oh yeah,
it's genius.
Yeah, well, they kind of bring him up in this mock trial where the most minor infractions are farm, and they're so bored doing
like
it.
nobody gets out. They just send everybody to the farm. I'm like, why even have this?
Yeah, just farm.
What's the point of this?
Everybody's very accepting of it too. They're like, "Oh, I'm dead now. That blows."
Well, I don't think that the regular citizens understand what the farm is.
Yeah,
I really don't. I think
they just know people go to the farm and don't come back.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So
Well, no, they know that people have things happen to them, because in the meeting he talks about, what do we say about these last people who left? Oh, they were in a farming accident. People don't know people go to the farm.
Right.
That's right. So so then this time he says,
But then they did it in public later. They just set up in a park and making
and
announcements
this is where my
to the
confusion
farm,
came
and then
in.
I'm confused now too because then the robots just rapidly killing the people they said they were going to go to the
Because
farm.
like when they were in that place, and she's like, "Oh, we told them that they had a farming accident," and like she thought it was cancer. So they're lying to other people.
Yeah.
But I thought it was because just the group that was in the church at that time was the council.
Yeah. I think that what happens at the later on, where they're outside in that park, when they're the only ones around.
Yeah,
Right.
And that's important to say too. Quilla June, she's doing this to get a seat on the council. She's like, that's her impression. That she's been given.
She wants power.
She wants power. She's definitely power hungry, and she wants to be in control of the society and not be a victim of whatever their decisions are.
And here's something that when you were talking about how Vic is a product of his environment, this is the perfect point where we find out that she is a product of her
She's
environment.
the perfect counterpoint. You're absolutely right.
Because she's this is the only way she can think of, is like she has to get power. She has to be in power. Whereas he just wants to survive. She wants power.
She wants control. She doesn't
Yeah.
want power. She wants control.
Yeah.
I mean, she
But
actually
she can't control her own life.
No.
Whereas they just use her and they're going to marry her off as breeding stock.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and she's very upset by it.
Well, yeah.
And they even say, well,
should be.
like, if she gives us a fuss, then we'll just send her to the farm.
Yep.
Exactly.
And this is supposedly his own daughter.
Oh yeah. They don't think much of other people. This is the other counterpoint. You get something that's hyper civilized where people don't matter, and something that's completely uncivilized where people don't matter. And this is the mystery of humanity. Where do you get that sweet spot where you matter as well as morality matters, and some bit of order, yet some bit of freedom?
Now
Now you just give me an idea. That would be the Screamer Society.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're free.
Yeah.
And they probably have some order. Oh, I'd like to see them like react like militarily. That comes into my remake. Oh god. Okay.
Let's tie this up because
Let's tie this up.
So we can get a
Okay,
remake,
so the ultimate reason for luring Vic to the down under is they're all sterile.
Yeah.
Literally sterile. So they can't really breed with each other anymore, so they need fresh stock, fresh sperm to be down there. And so when they tell Vic this after they've cleaned him all up and dressed him
In a
up
wonderful scene.
In
like
overalls.
Yeah, in overalls.
And the hat, he looks like Mike.
Straw hat.
He looks like Woody from Toy Story.
Yeah.
And they tell him, he's like, oh, you wanted me to screw all your ladies? Count me in.
Yep.
I'm all for it. And they're like, yeah, you're not touching anybody.
No. But then they have this whole bonkers thing where they're milking him
Yep.
for his semen, but at the same time marrying him
Yeah,
to
they have
women,
these
so that it has
ceremonies.
this religious thing where it's okay that they're doing this.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I'm like, it just added to the creepiness. I like it of this whole society.
Oh yeah, it's very Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah,
Very-
so there's 35 women that get kind of ceremoniously married off to him while he's strapped to a table and getting his balls
with tape
drained.
over his mouth.
Yeah. And after 35, like once they've all been inseminated, he's off to the farm too.
Mm-hmm.
He's done. You know, he's fertilizer or food, as we've
whatever
determined.
happens. Yeah. Yeah, until Quinella.
Yeah, Quinella realizes this hostile, violent from above, and that's why they strapped him down in the first place. They were never going to be part of the society. That's all they're there for. So this is her way to hopefully regain power, because she's lost all her leverage now as well.
Yeah, because she's done everything that they needed her to do.
So,
she's throwaway now,
hostile
right?
takeover. That's what she's hoping
And
for.
see, this is what drove me kind of a little bit bonkers at this point, was I liked that she wanted power, but then she goes about having she wanted Vic to do the job for her, and I'm like, we've seen her shoot people.
She's already.
Why can't she do it herself?
She's kind of got a small group of followers down there as well.
That she's probably manipulated via sex.
She's
Oh, yeah.
yeah. She's not a bit. She's a femme fatale.
Yeah.
But there's you don't see enough development there, so that's just something I would see a little bit more of, manipulating all these men down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically, it was sort of in counterpoint to what's happening to Vic.
Because they all seem to be very aware of the cost of this if they're caught.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, but I'd like to think it's so much. I want to have it as she's a femme fatale to a certain extent, but also because these guys are like, this is such a structured environment, we can't live like this, and that's why they want to overthrow the whole system, because they're like, their parents got sent to the farm for just saying no or not making potato salad at the last fucking thing, like something stupid, and they're out for vengeance for real. I think that would give it like more of an undertone where this is a movement, and that this society cannot survive for much longer in this way.
That would make it, more interesting still, because like I said, I think at this point it's just her manipulating her inner circle to take power from the older generation.
And I would see youth rebelling against this. I could totally see that.
And that would add another layer to it, to the already many layers that are in this film.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can't say that they've chosen these 35 girls. They seem too happy about it.
Well, because they're gonna have babies, right? And that's the way they've been brainwashed.
But I would like to. I would
right?
like to see some of them be like kind of against it, and they are not there, and they're not particularly happy. They're part of Quinella's like group. That would add something to that whole thing as well.
That would certainly make the escape scene a lot more powerful too, because you could see sort of them getting in the way to help facilitate the escape.
Yes,
right, without being overt about it. Like they trip and fall at the right time, or they stand in the way, or they stick their foot out and trip somebody. Right,
yeah,
like just little subtle acts of rebellion, right? So that they can protect themselves.
Yeah, because it's very apparent.
Help, right?
Well, it doesn't seem that women are on equal footing in this society, even though there is a woman on the council.
Yeah, and
in fact, she seems to be probably more evil than any of these.
She's evil,
others.
but she strikes me as more of a glorified secretary. I don't even think she has a rifle.
That's true.
Yeah,
I like the idea of her being the more evil of the bunch.
Yeah, she really enjoys the stuff that the evil that they're doing.
Oh, she
right?
loves
it. But yeah, I think she really is. She is his assistant, right? Like she's there to.
I might flip that in the remake.
Yeah,
you know. I mean, a woman trying to push women into stereotype roles.
You know what? I think that would offer a really nice juxtaposition to the lawlessness and the male-centric world above, to a extremely lawful and female-centric world below. That could make it really. It could make it really interesting.
Yeah, because then the comeuppance point is to be like, you rape up above, but this is no different than what you did.
Yeah, no, I actually kind of like that idea. That changes
Yeah, that
things.
would-
And if
Actually,
you're
doesn't change my
sterile,
casting,
then
but-
your only other use is for either defense or
Yeah.
or building or whatever. But what else are those men good for?
And it could also be like-
the
The women are there, like, they're like, okay, we just need more babies. We're good, right? We don't need a lot of the men. We're fine. We'll just have more babies. Everything's going to be good.
Very Amazonian.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, yes, men. And that would actually really tie in really well to Quilla manipulating that small group of boys, because they have no purpose, right? They're either going to be farmers, or they're going to the farm, or they're going to go into the military, right? And they don't get to have sex,
No.
right? So she's manipulated them by offering them favors and offering them a place in her new society.
Yeah, like it could also be a whole thing where like it's Quinella she's not on board with the subjugation of either. She's like, I think this is the youth. We can only move forward if we're a group, a cohesive group.
Yeah, no, I'm liking where that's going.
That would change a lot of the dynamics.
Oh,
It would.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change my casting. It's so awesome.
No.
Awesome. Well, let's get to that. I think that's great, but
we have to cover one more thing.
Yes, we do. I'm like, before that, we got to put the ironic capper on this whole
Oh,
movie.
God, yeah.
It's genius, and this ties into the farm theory that I had too, right?
So, they fight their way back out. Vic just wants to leave. He drops this amazing line, I got to get back into the dirt so I can feel clean.
I love that line. Yeah, there's so many great lines in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, something about the oversterilization. I'm like,
he's
okay,
definitely had it with this little society. He's got to get back to blood.
not a good society.
Yeah. So they fight their way out. They find out that this smiling big guy is a robot.
Another great line is like, get another mic out of storage, but make sure you program so he doesn't smile all the time.
Yes, which is part of what my remake is.
Yeah. I'd make him bigger and stuff. But anyway, he was just some fat old dude.
Yeah. I didn't cast him
See,
because
but I
just,
like the
I didn't either.
innocuousness of that. He blended in with society generally.
That's true. He
Yeah.
did blend in with society. I don't think anybody knew.
You wouldn't think robot.
No.
Like I said, I didn't either until he started sparking.
Yeah.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. I about midway before the reveal came, I kind of figured it
When
out.
they kept shooting him, he
About
wouldn't fall
10
down.
shots
No,
in.
even
That's
before.
where I
No,
read.
before the shots. Like, I think the first time he kills somebody in the park and just strangles them really easily.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, he's a robot.
Yeah.
That was where I kind of picked up on it.
Oh, see, I
No, it
went
wasn't that
straight
quick, I'm
Lenny,
sorry.
and then it was when the gunshots started.
Yeah.
I kind
Yeah.
of tweaked in.
So yeah, they get out. So a lot of their supporters are caught. So it's just Vic and Quinella that get out, and the first thing he thought of is
Blood.
finding
Yeah.
blood. So they go over the hill, and he didn't make it very far. Blood is not doing well. His
Well, he's
wounds.
injured.
Yeah, he's succumbed to his wounds. He hasn't really been able to eat and find food, so he's fading fast.
And it suggests a lot more time has passed than you realize while they
Yeah.
were down under.
Yeah. Oh, he's probably been down there for a few days.
Yeah.
That's
would
what I
think.
figured.
So there's a lot of argument about what to do, because Vic doesn't want to abandon blood.
Not again. He's not doing it again.
He's not doing it again.
No.
He needs food, but he can't really travel. He's not going to make travel.
And Quinella's on the other shoulder going, no, let's just leave him. Let's just leave him.
yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, we can't do anything for him now.
Yep. Cut scene. And we hear Vic and Blood talking, and then you slowly come to the realization that he got to eat all right.
Yep.
They
The
killed,
long pig.
they killed and ate Quinella.
Which was a great ending. And this is a testament to Don Johnson's acting when he was younger, as it was phenomenal, because if you can actually see the thought pop into his head right before they cut away.
Yeah.
You actually see him realizing that he does have a food source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it, I'm like, he's gonna fucking kill her and they're gonna eat her.
They're
And
gonna-
then
yeah.
sure enough, yeah.
Yeah, well, because he really wasn't attached to her at
No.
all.
Oh, no.
No, he's-
especially after all the shit he went through, it was like, why is she even here?
Well, part of it is she tells him to leave blood. That was her fatal mistake.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think she probably could have survived if she said, well, we'll find something for Blood, we'll get him something. If she'd been on Blood's side, there's a slim chance she could have survived.
Yeah, but
but
he
her
wouldn't have been in that position in the first place. and she wasn't going to leave, but her failed coup, so now she has to. It's her only living above is the only way she's
And
going
she wants to
survive.
attach herself to Vic because he's a survivor.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So the irony of it all.
Yes.
So bad.
And I think that's why where I thought the cannibalism from the farm kind of ties in, because that's not something in the upper society. They don't really sort of discuss that eating other people is acceptable, but it was down there, and so the irony of her getting eaten by somebody from upside. Just adds to the irony of her ending.
Yeah, and you could also have it like it'd be like kind of the mad cow disease, but for humans, they're becoming sterile because they're eating humans.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, you do get they've proven that you can get diseases from eating human flesh, right? So why not? Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. No, liked that.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. I thought that was great. I mean, there's necessity to it.
Yeah, and then he dresses his wounds in like her dress.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the capper that I was like, oh my god.
Made use of the whole cow.
Yep.
I thought it was the whole buffalo.
Whole buffalo, okay.
Well, buffalo, much tastier.
Buffalo's good.
Well, let's get into some casting. I know you guys seem to be chomping at the bit. And Trish has been holding on to this.
I've been holding on to a theory that I've had.
So, do you want the theory first, or do you want casting first, or does one inform the other?
I don't know. One doesn't inform the other so much.
Okay, well, come on, give us your theory.
My bonkers theory, and this is the whole thing, when it came to me when I was looking at Michael, is this is like the post-War of the Machines Terminator. Michael is a Terminator. And he's left over, which is why they're in that underground vault. And they've been living there for so long. And that's why it's nuclear winter up top. Because they were just nuking everything they could find until everything died.
Oh. Okay.
Now we're moving away from a remake into...
I know we're moving away from a remake, but that just kind of... I thought that would be fun. Because they get another Michael. It's another Terminator.
Sure. Well,
yeah, they have them in storage, right?
All right. I'm not going to dissuade that.
I could see... I could do it as a loose tie-in, maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say. Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be a right tie-in.
The future from the Terminator universe.
But yeah, and it's a loose tie-in. And when you talk about the Screamers are like some of the humans that were left over that were the military fighting on the top, which is why they've become so irradiated, which brought into when you're thinking that's why they would be organized. Yeah. Yet,
and those are the mutants from
I Am Legend?
I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Yes. There you go.
We're tying every remake we've ever done together.
Every apocalyptic movie tie-in, I think.
That's right. That's right. We'll figure Blob and Old Boy in there somehow.
We can get there. Well, no, the Blob's not really apocalyptic.
No, but Sam said every movie, so I'm still trying to figure out Best Friend's Wedding.
My best friend's wedding.
We get that at the whole milking scene, the whole best friend's wedding bit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Cameron Diaz and Julia Roberts fighting over Don Johnson on a gurney.
Yes.
Well, I never start, so I'll start with remaking. I was going to go with director Jason Lee Howden, who did Deathgasm. As my director, to bring in some black humor into the film that is there but not very present.
Yeah,
I think to pull it forward a little bit more. And he's good with visual effects. He was a visual effects artist on the Hobbit movies and Avengers, so I think that's something we can bump up our movie with as well.
For sure.
We know he's going to have some good looking stuff. For fantasy casting, for Vic, I went with because Don Johnson's pretty young, so I was trying to aim some in the 20s, which is difficult. But there's a young, good-looking guy from Noah and Jupiter Ascending. Try not to hold that movie against him. Douglas Booth, that I was going to go with Vic. Charlotte McKinney, I was going to use for Quinella June Holmes. She's in the upcoming Baywatch movie. She was in Joe Dirt 2 and the upcoming Flatliners. That's why I put her in, because we'll be talking about her again, probably. Although Flatliners is starting to sound like it's going to be a pseudo-sequel remake.
Rather than...
Yeah, kind of what they did with Evil Dead, where it's a sequel make.
A sequel make?
Yeah.
And like Jumanji, the new Jumanji is supposed to be something like that as well.
Yeah, sequel make, it's not.
I'm like, they're trying to do a remake, but not really.
Maybe
Force Awakens is a sequel make.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe they have been listening to us. They're like, God, we can't they're going to get on us if we make a remake.
Yeah, right?
They're still going to get on you for the record.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I was fighting with Craddock, who was Jason Robards in the movie. He's the leader on the council for the underground, the Down Under.
I love Jason Robards.
Yeah.
Everything
Me
he
too.
does. I love when he does a bad guy.
Now, I was thinking this is probably the best place to put Don Johnson, because we like to cast from the previous movie, but failing that, I'm like, oh, Sam Elliott would be really good in this
he
part.
would be, yeah.
Nice.
So, I mean, I really want Sam Elliott in there, but I'm like, maybe Don Johnson. So, and actually, now that I think about it, he should be the voice of Blood. But
Yeah.
I was going with Ken Schreiner, he's actually done a lot of soap opera stuff, As the World Turns, General Hospital, but he played Green Arrow in the Justice League
Nice.
Unlimited series, and I really liked the sound of his voice, so I was just going by voice, and I thought it'd be good for Blood, but now I think about it, Don Johnson should be Blood.
See, and I
Yeah.
waffled on that. I was going to go Don Johnson for Blood, but I did cast him as Craddock because I have another voice for
Okay.
Blood. So
Yeah, so, there's my alternative there, but Ken Schreiner, I think, had a great voice for that. So, that's really all I did for casting, because they're the only really major characters in the film. I was, for the Smiling Michael guy, like, I was going to kind of do an empty mask anyway, so it didn't really matter who it was.
yeah, I didn't cast Mike either because it could be any largish guy with an expressionless face. Essentially, right?
Yeah.
So we have already kind of paired up on Luke Craddock, which
Yeah,
is not surprising.
I think we are all probably we're heading in that territory anyway. I can't speak for Trish, but she might have been thinking the same way. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll go next, I guess.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
go back to Trish. Okay, so for my Vic, I went with Ezra Miller because I like him. And
Okay.
I like the look he has. I think he'd work really well in that role. For Blood, I went with Jeff Goldblum because he's got such a distinctive voice, and he conveys intelligence very well, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just a good voice; it's that the way his manner of speaking. For Quilla, and there's a specific reason I went with this particular actress. I went with Elle Fanning
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Good
because
choice.
she was in another movie that ended in cannibalism.
You know what? I almost cast her.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
she was so close in
Yeah.
my casting. I just was thinking she was just slightly too old for what I wanted.
Yes. Well,
Because I wanted to keep them in that looking like teenagers.
Well, Elle Fanning's only 17, so.
Elle Fanning. Oh, I'm thinking of somebody else. I was thinking of that chick from Sucker Punch.
Oh yeah, no.
Emily Browning.
That's the one.
Browning,
That's
no.
who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry.
Elle Fanning was in Neon Demon.
Yeah.
Okay.
At which she got eaten at the end.
Yeah.
So I like the theme of that. So that's one of the main reasons I cast her is because she gets eaten at the
Wow,
end.
this is her new
nice.
thing.
I'm totally making it her thing.
That's going to be her
like-
wheelhouse.
I'll be in your movie as long as I'm eating at the end, but it's a romantic comedy. I don't care.
I still get eaten in the end.
That's your problem, not mine.
Yeah, it's contractual obligation needs to be eaten in the end.
Yeah. So I did cast a couple other characters because Mez Smith was so evil. I cast her. I cast Helena Bonham Carter because I thought she'd do just a wonderful job with that
Oh, very
crazy
nice.
Nice.
evilness.
Yeah.
And then I also cast Dr. Moore because he actually is kind of critical
Oh, yeah,
in the
I
movie.
have him cast.
And I went with Steve Buscemi because he just has that right look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I went along those lines, but not quite.
Yeah. And then for my director, because I really like what he's been doing lately, and I think he's a great director, and I'd like to see him do a genre film like this, I'm with Ben Affleck.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
very nice.
So
That's
yeah.
cool.
Cool.
I like that.
Well, then you can see where some of the crossover we had in the fact that as a director, I was just curious. I wanted Tim Burton because I love the weirdness of the Down Under, and I think you could really
He would really elevate that for sure.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I just don't want Tim Burton to do any more remakes.
true, very true.
Yeah, no kidding.
Which is why I struggled with it, but I'm like going, one more chance.
Yeah, you know my feelings on it, obviously. Yeah,
Exactly. Just give him just one more chance. This is all in my head, so
Yeah.
I believe him doing a great job.
yeah,
So
of course.
for Vic, there's an actor called Luke Pasqualino.
Yes.
British actor.
Yeah.
Love him. And he's got that young, youthful look I really like. For Blood, I went with Billy West.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm like, if anybody's going to do a voice for Blood that's going to work, it's Billy West.
Very cool.
And Quilla, I went a little bit off the script because I thought maybe in the society they also kind of stole humans. So, like, she's not going to be the same as her dad. So I went with Zoe Kravitz.
See,
I love her in post-apocalyptic movies.
Yes, I was going to go with a multicultural cast. Like I really started focusing that way. Like, let's change it up. Then I realized that in this society, especially though that under society, there's no way.
See, but I thought there was desperation in that they stole other people's babies.
And I like the way you're going with that, because that does make it work then.
And also with a sperm bank.
Yeah, because I was having real trouble with the whitewashing, right?
Yeah,
right?
But I think with the sperm, but I like the idea of keeping. This is the thing that's going to be really bad. It's the darkness, the white face masks with a multicultural cast makes it even more nefarious and more upsetting.
Yeah, I think that I'm seeing that work.
Oh yeah, I totally want that world upsetting.
Yeah.
And then for Craddock, I got because he does such a good bad guy, and he's an older man, and I think he can pull it off. Robert Redford.
Very nice.
Oh, very nice.
Well, I mean, Sam Elliott. When I was looking at him, he's like in his 70s, so we were kind of on the same idea.
Yeah. And then Dr. Moore, John Malkovich.
Oh, nice.
Man.
He's creepy enough.
I kept mine weird and indie, and you guys, your casting's great.
And I
Both
put,
of you.
and for Michael, I put Jay Courtney, because I just wanted a Terminator tie-in.
and he'd be
so
great.
you went with the worst one.
Yeah. Well, I need him young enough that he looks like a robot. Everybody else with the other ones were a little too old to be the really busting up robots. If I could get a young Arnie, I totally would, but I can't.
Well, that's what you do. You just do, because we just saw it in Rogue One. Let's do some really weird texture mapping on somebody's face because it still looks weird and disturbing. So
maybe, but it's too upsetting. It's just too upsetting.
It's too much. It's too much.
Upsetting. This world
I'm
is
gonna have
going to be
nightmares about Tarkin now.
This world's going to be upsetting enough.
Yes.
I see no reason to keep going. And for Mez, I wasn't concerned. I didn't know if she was still alive, but Susanne Benton, who was the woman from the original.
Oh, okay.
Mez is the other woman who's on the
So
council.
her tie-in from the yes,
that's cool.
Yeah, it was that. It was either her. If Susanne Benton is dead, and I don't know if she is, I haven't checked. Sally Field was the other one. I was waffling with either two.
I'll find it
because Sally Field can really do crazy, and I like her.
Yeah, and you know what? She needs more stuff like that. But yeah, I'm liking where you're going. Yeah. We both went kind of the same direction with the casting, just different actors, but yes,
we were like thinking along the same lines.
Yeah. Now, there's one thing I wanted to mention about the remake that I really think is important to include in it. If there are so few women, you're going to have a prison mentality. You are going to have a lot of male-on-male relationships for convenience.
Oh yeah,
right. And I really want that to be present.
See, and I want that to be like, the guy who has the people pulling his wagon. I want that to sort of be a thing where those are his boys. I thought that's what was happening.
Yeah, I want there to be like the harem kind of you have like the guys who are kind of dressed up like girls, kind of thing, right? And just to add that the fact that this is the kind of society you would have in a society where there are so few women.
Yes.
Right.
By the way, Susanne Benton is still alive but hasn't acted since 1982. She is currently 68.
Okay. Well, if you want to do it, Suzanne, and we can get this going, love to have you.
Yeah. So yeah. No, that's one thing that I was really thinking about in the remake is I want that homosexuality out of necessity to be present.
Yeah,
right?
and that's the thing. What I find with some of these movies, like I don't know if you guys find this as glaring, but sometimes I watch a movie and it's very, very apparent that in this universe, no women really exist, but people treat it like it's not even a thing. Like they do. There's wet holes somewhere, but we don't care. Like it's very glaringly obvious. But I like a movie where there is an absence of women, that it's addressed in some way, like what you're talking about. There's got to be some acknowledgement that this affects society in some way.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Right, and I mean, you're going to have true homosexuals, or the homosexuals who are that way by nature, and then you're going to have the homosexuals that are gay out of need, because like they would like in prison, where men being men need a wet hole, as you put it, right? So I think that's really would add more to that lawlessness and that that same sense of confinement that you get in this world, right?
And I also want the counterpoint when we were talking about like an Amazonian society. I want that counterpoint in the Down Under.
Yeah.
I want that to be sort of maybe a basic thing, or like any relationship with a boy or a male is kind of looked down on as lesser than a relationship between two women.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's a nice counterpoint. Yeah, you're absolutely right to the above.
Yeah. And see, that's why my casting still works.
And
Because,
it adds, more irony.
Yeah.
And everything still works.
yeah, because, Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great at evil.
I know, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't change much of the story. I might tone down the rapiness at the beginning a little bit, but you still need it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, you
no,
do
it
need
is.
it.
Yeah, and that's just it. When I first watched like the first 10, 12 minutes of this,
It is upsetting.
it's very upsetting. And then by the time I get to the end of it, I'm like, it's very necessary.
Yeah. Right, because it tells the story, and
Once you get to that point where it's in the Down Under and it's happening, I'm like, oh, like that was like, yeah, I know. I still makes me unhappy.
And it
like,
should.
I understand how.
but it makes you
Yeah.
unhappy with a purpose. It's supposed to make you unhappy,
Yeah.
right? And unhappy with a purpose is never a bad thing.
And and that's why this movie is revered. Like, it's got Hugo Awards. It's on some top science fiction lists, and it's got a ton of awards behind it. And it's not because it's well acted or even a good looking movie as far as its cinematography and the way it's shot or written, because L.Q. Jones really didn't do much else on the writing and directing side of things, but it's a very strong story.
It's great at looking at the excesses either too much freedom or too little freedom has on humans.
Yeah, no, and it's like I said, it's because Harlan Ellison, that's what he did, is he wrote what appears to be a simple story until you really think about it.
He was very good at the ironic endings.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And making you think that making it very easy to digest, and then you think about it later, right? And that's what this movie was. This is one of the movies where it's like, okay, it's no. I mean, I shouldn't say easy to digest, because this is not easy to digest.
No.
But what he tells the story in a very simple way, and then you go, wait a minute, what did I just watch?
Yeah.
Now you start thinking about it and really breaking down what the point of everything was, because every single thing in this story has a point.
Oh, yeah. It breaks down a lot of stuff. There's layers to it, but you don't realize the layers as you're watching it because a lot of the stuff is so jarring. It's so easy to get upset right away and not concentrate on what's the other deeper layers of it are. And it's only until later when you kind of rethink it, it gets to you. But like, it's so, it is. It really, it made me, some parts of it jarred me and made me very upset. But when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, I get why that's there, and I get what's being said. It doesn't make it any better, but I get it.
Yeah, the movie really stuck with me for quite a while after watching it, because I watched it a little earlier in the day yesterday, and because I wanted to think about the casting and whatnot, and man, it really did stick with me. I'm like, I don't know if I'd watch it again, but I get why people like it and why it's revered.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And like I said, it's been a long time since I saw it.
Yeah,
the first time I saw it, but I remembered that feeling, and I think that's why when I'm like sort of like perusing to see what I wanted to do for my birthday movie, I'm like, that's the one, right?
Yeah.
Because I remembered it affecting me. I didn't remember I'd forgotten how. Yeah, I didn't remember how misogynistic and rapey the first half was.
Yeah.
But. And as soon as I started watching it, like 10 minutes in, I texted Jay, oh, geez, I see why Trish didn't want to do this movie, because it's really
I had the
misogynistic.
same
bad.
reaction.
Yeah.
Like, I just texted Trish, and I'm like, I see why you didn't want to do this movie.
Yeah.
And knowing Trish, I know why.
No, I totally know why. And it is misogynistic, but it is really, really well done, and it is well handled.
But it doesn't glorify it.
And by no means does it glorify it.
Yeah.
And see, but yeah, this is kind of why I think the other difference, having the contrast down under, is important, because the problem I kind of sort of had with part of it was it's bad for women up top, it's bad for women below. Everywhere we are, we're fucked. But at least with our remake, there's at least something that shows an appeal for females on one end, like why they would want to be in a certain society.
And it also shows that rampant, obsessive feminism isn't necessarily any better than
Well, anybody having complete control, whether you're male or female, is bad because it really does bring out your baser, unpleasant instincts.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So yeah, no, this was definitely an anti-feminist film in its original iteration. In a lot of ways, not deliberately, but
unfortunately, it was really telling because that's the two options you have: is better or worse.
Yeah, I mean, and given when the film was made, you can see why it wasn't really addressed. But now we have an opportunity to address that, and
and it doesn't
have the notes in there that are
right.
right.
And it doesn't overly change the film, but it gives it a much deeper meaning to it.
No, and in fact, I'd hate to say,
I think it enhances it.
It enhances the film, and enhances the messages.
Yeah.
Yeah, the darkness that humans have, it's sexless, it's genderless.
Yeah, and they try to convey that with the Quilla character.
They try, but it's because, to me, she seems so impotent at certain points. Like, you're already going to the farm. Why don't you shoot him? Like, this is what bothered me the most. They've just announced you're going to the farm. What harm can it do now?
Yeah.
She doesn't do it. She still wants him to do it for her, and that sort of drove me a little bit bonkers.
And that spoke to her need for control. She wanted to control him.
Yeah,
right?
But she's already shot people, and it's already game over. Why not? Like, I don't know, maybe it's back to her own internalized sexism, where she couldn't believe she was capable of shooting these people because she was a woman.
We've already seen her shoot people.
I know, but that's the weird thing. Like, I don't know. Like, she can't be the one who does it? She needs to be saved by a hero?
No, that's not what it was. She was still trying to manipulate him. It was really about her trying to manipulate him to get him to do what she wanted. That was her whole point. It wasn't about her being unwilling to do it.
I can get that. I can get that up to a point, but once they've already sentenced her to the farm, why do I want to manipulate him? It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, but she still had that desire for control didn't go away. Well, if I can't control my society, at least I got him.
Yeah, I don't know.
She wanted to turn him into her Mike.
But, I mean, at the same time, I'm like, I would have been driven by survival instincts.
Oh, me too. I would have been like, to me, it's survival instincts.
Worry about controlling him later.
Yeah, I'd worry about controlling him later. Because, like, A, I'm already sent to the farm. B, I've got a clean shot. And C, well, I'll just have to deal with Mike when that time comes. Because there's not much I can do. But I can take those three out. If I get those three out, maybe, just maybe, these cows will fall into line.
Yeah, they're all really passive. I mean, these guys that are getting accused and they get strangled in a park willingly. Like, they don't run. They just get picked up and choked.
One does try to run.
One does.
Yeah.
He doesn't get far.
He does not get far.
No. Because he waited too long.
Yeah, he waited too long and he's clumsy.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, farm. Oh, wait. He just killed those two. I should run.
Yeah, and they did the stumble run.
There's this big process in his head, and it has commercial breaks.
I know. Yeah, see, that also drove me a little bit nuts, in that their
preservation
wasn't there.
Yeah,
no,
and I think that was the point. I think that was part of the whole indoctrination of that whole society is they have no sense of self-preservation, which is what makes Quilla interesting, is because she does, right? But she's still got that indoctrination, whereas you don't do the dirty work yourself.
Yeah,
right. And I think that's what it came right down to. She's capable of it in the upside, because they weren't her people. They were scavengers. They were animals.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why she could fire the gun and kill people upside.
Yeah.
But down in her own society, that's not how it works. They weren't animals. They were people. And they were her people, so she couldn't do it, but she could make an animal do it.
And if she did, and these are the people she wants to lead, she can't be seen as an animal.
Exactly. Right?
That makes sense.
Oh, see, I get the not being seen as an animal, and I totally, and I get that these are people. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I guess I am really very much an animal at that point. If you're like, well, I'm going to die.
Well, I mean, that's such the change in the indoctrination, or just the way those people are raised in the down under.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to at least seen
all those natural instincts are suppressed.
Fire off a shot, just one shot. That would have made me happy. Just at least try. If she'd fired off one shot, I would have liked to, because that would have been more of a completion of that character arc, where she's no longer part of that society. That was,
and you're right. That would be a nice sort of nail in the coffin for her, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah, one out the door anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like at that point it'd be like, well, I have to go now. I'm embracing this lifestyle. I guess I can't be here anymore. Like have that like underneath it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would add a nice final point to her removal from the society, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she still gets eaten.
Yeah, I was about to say, so when you have your friends over for dinner, don't have your friends over for dinner. Just watch the movie and tell your friends about the podcast and our discussion about it. And, don't look at them thinking they'd be good in a white wine sauce.
Yeah.
Instead, share the podcast with them. We're on iTunes, Stitchers, Google Play Music, Libsyn, TuneIn Radio, Player FM, Audio Boom, and a bazillion other podcast providers. So tell your friends how to listen to us and share the podcast with them. You can also share us out on your social media. If you see us post on Facebook and Twitter, just repost us, retweet us. We are at Invasion Remake on Twitter, Invasion the Remake on Facebook, and invasiontheremake@gmail.com. Give us your suggestions, your corrections, your comments. Just tell us your thoughts about things. You can do that through all those sources. We do take fan challenges. We did one last year. We're looking for another good one this year.
Yeah, please challenge us. It was a lot of fun. Painful, but fun.
Yeah.
We can take some of the worst stuff and make it amazing.
Yeah, we're up for a challenge, but be original, be unique. There are some things that we may just, not do right away because it's already something we got on the planning blocks. So please put in your suggestions and stuff, and we will take you to task on the air for it. But
yes.
That's part of the fun.
I'll make you famous.
Make it famous. Nice. Another impression.
Man, 2017 is just bringing it out on
Just
him.
Oh, I
fire.
almost did my Matthew McConaughey impersonation there too when you were talking about.
All right.
All right.
Nice.
Oh, 2017. I can just smell change. So, yeah, please also give us 5-star review and drop us 5-star rating on iTunes. It helps us out. It helps people get their earballs on the show, and it really helps them find the show. So the more ratings there are, the higher we get up in the charts and the more people that see it, right? So, leave us some feedback there and some stars. It definitely helps us out, and that's really all we ask.
Yes,
Yeah, the more people that are listening, the easier it is for us to make you famous when you provide us with your fan challenge.
That's right.
There's some motivation for y'all.
Yeah. So, become part of the show, and we've just told you a bazillion ways to do it. So get on board and have your friends for dinner. I mean, over for dinner.
Over for dinner.
Holy.
And play our podcast.
But not
And play our
eat for dinner.
podcast. And I'm still a little thrown off by the whole tiger blood thing.
I know. It's upsetting and weird, and I don't know what I think about it. But I think it's best. It's one of those things maybe we shouldn't think a lot about it and just let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything to do with Charlie Sheen is best just not to think about it, isn't it?
Just let that wash through your brain and away.
Unless it's Men at Work or Platoon.
That's right.
I don't know. The first Hot Shots was kind of entertaining.
All right. Well, let's not talk about it. That's a whole different podcast. Well, you know what? That was A Boy and His Dog, and, that turned out to be a pretty good birthday episode for Sam, even though his birthday was a month ago.
Almost, yeah. It's just timing, right? It's so close to Christmas,
comes
right?
together.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the thing. You still get your birthday episode no matter when it falls.
That's right. You still get it. It just, it fell in the Christmas episodes. Well, that's it. I've been Jason.
I'm Sam.
I'm Trish.
And I'm Not Your Dinner. We're out of here.
See ya.
And then the faint thunder became an uproar. The winds changed to a great vibration of air.
Then Nance. Then Doc. But kill Lou first, because he's the important one. Where are you going? The church is this way. Hey, we gotta get them with it together. Where are you going?
I'm getting the hell out of here. I want to see blood again. I want to get in a good, straightforward fight with some son of a bitch over a can of beans. I gotta get back in the dirt so I feel clean.